everybody, live here in Huntsville, the death row capital of the United States, and I'm in here with somebody who's opposed to the death penalty. So would you like to, I'm going to take a film of me. Hello, how are you?
Oh, am I on?
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to
Okay. Are we
introduce
live?
yourself? We're not live, but we're going to be, I'll be giving you the YouTube channel later, yep?
All right, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you perfect.
Great.
Right, so what do you think about them doing the death penalty in America?
Well, it's a flawed public policy. I used to be in favor of the death penalty, and I changed my mind when I tried to prove that it worked. I tried to prove that it was fair. I tried to prove that it was cost effective. I tried to prove that we always got the right person, etc. And everything I tried to prove about the death penalty, the truth turned out to be the opposite. I had to change my mind. And that was 30-some years ago. Now I'm running a national organization called Death Penalty Action.
Would you like to give the website address so people can check it out?
It's deathpenaltyaction.org. Deathpenaltyaction.org. And we can see that it's on the back of the shirt here too. And
Here we go, got that.
And what we do is what you're seeing right here. We try to shine a spotlight on executions. We've been running a petition for Robert Fratta. I happen to know Bobby personally. I met him.
For those viewers who don't know, that's the guy who's scheduled to be executed in a little over an hour's time.
What about him?
I was just explaining, the person Bobby is the person about to execute.
Yes. Bobby Fratta. I met him when I was visiting somebody on death row in 1998. So I've known him that long. And we've been talking a lot over the last couple of weeks. The problem that we have here is he's got real questions in his case about things that happened in his prosecution. Things that are all really concerning, like they used hypnosis to get a witness to change her story, things like that. And basically, every appeal he has had since 2010 has been dismissed, not on the merits of the arguments, but on the fact that he was too late, or he didn't cross enough T's and dot enough I's. I mean, just BS stuff, not the actual argument that he's trying to make, not the evidence he's trying to raise. That's one of the problems with the death penalty here, and that's one of the shameful things about what's happening. And right now, the only reason why this execution is delayed is because there was a challenge about whether the state should be able to use expired drugs for their executions, which they've been doing for several years. Seems to work just fine, but that's the question right now. So that ruling was from the district court. Now it's going to go to the Court of Appeals. And from there, it'll go up to the U.S. Supreme Court, and each side, whoever loses, will appeal to the next highest court. And when it gets to the U.S. Supreme Court, then they're probably going to say, go ahead and kill him. But I hope I'm wrong about that, and I hope we get to pack it up and go home without an execution. There's another one in 2 days in Oklahoma. We'll be at that one, too.
Okay, so where are you actually from? Where do you live?
I live in Columbus, Ohio. In fact, the three of us, Gary and Charles and myself, all drove from Ohio. We left yesterday about this time.
So how far away is Ohio away from where we are now?
Yeah, over 1,000 miles.
So that was a big drive.
It took us 16 hours of driving to get here. And then from here, we're on our way to Oklahoma, where we're doing a lot of organizing, and we're organizing here in Texas, too. That's what we do, is raise awareness, raise visibility. Charles here has a brother who was once on death row, was 13 days away from execution, and they stopped that. His name is Kevin Keith. Kim Kardashian just did a big podcast about that. If you look at Kim Kardashian's The System podcast, it's all about Charles's brother and how he's innocent and still in prison and was once on death row. So that's what we do. Check out deathpenaltyaction.org and join us.
Well, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. A quick question. I believe it's a lot more expensive to have somebody on death row than life in prison, isn't it?
The incarceration is more expensive, but really the high cost of the death penalty is rated up front when they decide they're going to seek a death sentence. It costs a lot more just to have that trial, and that's where it really gets people in trouble, because those costs are borne by the county. Like Texas has 254 counties, but only about 40 of them have ever sent anybody to death row. And most of those, just a couple of people, because it costs a lot of money to do that. And we think that we can be safe from dangerous people and hold them accountable for what they've done, assuming that they're guilty, without executions, because that's what we do in the vast majority of cases. So anyway, deathpenaltyaction.org and learn more.
Well, that's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much. Like you say, I've been non-biased here, so we're going to give you both sides of the story. And thank you very much. And what did you say your name was?
It's Abe Bonowitz. Abraham Bonowitz.
Absolutely
nice to
brilliant
What's
to
your
meet
name?
you. And thank you very much for the interview. Abe is about to do a live podcast now, so he's going to have to get to work now. Thank you very much, Abe. I really appreciate that.
Of course.